Did I make more money using an OnlyFans agency? Hi, before we get started, if you're here and you're not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you stick around. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. Like the video if you like it, leave me a nice comment down below. All that stuff really helps out my channel. On to the video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the videos you normally see over here. And if you see me looking over here, I have my computer over here. I have a couple of notes. So if you don't know, hi, my name's Ashley and I do run a spicy page. I have been running this spicy page for about 2 years now. And as you know, a lot of social media platforms don't really like spicy creators to be on their platform. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of creators do their promotions. So I was doing a lot of promoting, and I had actually made it to the top 8% on OnlyFans, and I was doing pretty well for myself, you know, making pretty good money just for myself. And then I ran into some issues where I ended up getting banned and I lost my accounts. And this was in April of this year, towards the end of April. And so I had kind of inched up. I was seeing my percentage inch up and I was seeing my income inch down, which I didn't like. And so I kind of started doing a little research online into OnlyFans agencies to see if they could help me, one, promote without getting anything banned, because that seems to be a problem these days, and two, if they could just make me more money in general. So I did my research and I found a couple of online OnlyFans agencies. Now, I know a lot of people say be careful of these agencies, and I do think a lot of them are predatory in nature. They're looking for probably the younger, unexperienced girl who's just going to roll over and let you do whatever you want with their page. Unfortunately, I'm not like that. All this is alleged. None of this may or may not have happened. But I filled out an application with 2. I heard back from 1. So I went with this agency mainly because on their website it says they were mostly women-owned companies, and I liked them because they said that they did DCMA takedowns, which, if you don't know what that is, if you have any leaked content on the internet, supposedly they're going to take it down for you. Supposedly. So after the initial filing of the application, I had a phone meeting with someone. I'm not even sure who she was. It was like a Zoom meeting or a Google Meets meeting. Honestly, I don't know who she was. I can't remember her name, but we discussed kind of what I would be doing, kind of just the logistics. She asked me how much time I would be able to devote to this, and I told her I can devote a lot of time, but there are some days where I can't do anything at all. And she was like, okay, a couple of days a week you can work. And I was like, okay, that sounds fine. Not a big deal. We also discussed the percentages of how it would work out. So it was a 60-30 percentage. So I kept 30% and they got a whopping 60%. And this came out in bi-weekly payments. Let that sink in. 60% bi-weekly payments. Went with it because I thought they were gonna make me more money than what they actually made me. Spoiler alert. The rights to all of my media, so anything that I created, it's still mine. The lady on the Google Meets for the very first time talked about how communication is key and all of that. Let's just say it all looked shiny and pretty and really attractive, and it was tied up in a nice bow. All that to say, I signed the contract on June 1st. And it is a 3-month revolving contract, supposedly. So if you don't put in writing that you want out of this contract before your 3 months is up, your contract's just going to renew again for another 3 months. So be aware of that. Signing on June 1st, I didn't hear anything from anybody for a couple of days, which I was like, let's get the ball rolling, because essentially you're taking 60% and you haven't even done anything for me yet. It came with receipts. You guys, I printed out the contract. Let's just, before, I know we're taking a little side break here, but in this contract, it has here the tasks of the agency. The services of the agency may include, but are not limited to, the following: guidance by a motivated and dedicated personal success manager. I'm not sure I had that. I talked to a couple of ladies, and I met with some manager weekly. We'll get into that here in a minute. Individual support by the personal success manager. Again, I'm not sure if that's who I was meeting with weekly, and her support was not great. We'll get into that too. A kickoff session, 45 minutes. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I had that. One-on-one support calls with a client success manager. I don't know if I had that either. Development of one-of-a-kind branding. We never talked about my branding. Maybe we did for a brief moment, and actually, yeah, let's get into that. She wanted my branding to be more like BG content, and unfortunately, that's not going to work for me. I do more solo content, and I kind of told her that, which my manager would tell me, if I don't like anything, if I don't like any ideas, please let her know. And so I did. And I just told her I don't think that branding was going to work. Also tried to, I feel like, market me as more of like a corn star, which I'm not. Hey, I'm just an average girl in middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And during meetings with these managers, she would oftentimes say that my content looked amateur, or that my setting looked amateur. And again, I hate to break it to you, I'm not in a studio, you guys. I'm in my house. And I live in my house, and I have other people that live in this house, and I don't know, it's a house. It's not a multi-million-dollar mansion. I'm not a star of any kind. It's my house. I just want to be that girl next door that maybe you see at the grocery store, but that you could also get online and see some spicy pics of her. That's what I'm trying to be. And I feel like they were trying to make me into something that I really wasn't. Content protection and third-party infringement removal. That never happened. OFTV management. Should we get into this? Let's get into this. They wanted me to start an OFTV, which was great. I think that was perfect. Great. Let's do it. I think is really difficult to get signed up with, and a lot of times they don't like to work with creators who have managers. And so my manager kind of talked to me through what I needed to do. Initially, she had offered to fill out the OnlyFans TV application. I sent in a little video. They edited it down. It was great. But I guess she got busy. She sent me the application. I believe I had communicated with her that I needed help filling out the application. I never really got help filling out the application, so I went on and sent it because I got the feeling that it was urgent. Oh, you have to send this in. So I sent it in, and of course I filled out the application wrong, and my OnlyFans TV application didn't get accepted. And upon that, she also told me that the video that we submitted wasn't filmed correctly. She said the video was filmed vertical and it should have been filmed horizontal, which is a lie, because the video is here on YouTube and I filmed it horizontal because I only film horizontal for YouTube. So I think it's funny that she lied to me and said that the video was filmed incorrectly, because it was not filmed incorrectly. I for sure film all my YouTube videos horizontal, which allegedly that is how I believe our contract came to an end, was a little tiffed over some OnlyFans footage. But I'll circle back around to that. Model information sheet, and you give them the passwords to all of your social medias. So I did that. Let's see, I had a couple of Instagrams at the time, and they did start posting right away to my Instagrams, which I thought was great. I did get, I think 160,000 views on one Instagram. I have the receipts. I can pop them up here somewhere. So that was great. But they kept getting, at some point, they kept getting all of my Instagram accounts banned. I would make new Instagram accounts. They were signing into my Instagram account from places all over the world, and I think that just looked spammy on their end on my Instagram accounts, which got banned. Um, so I don't think that was a great idea, which leads me back. I'm all over the place, you guys, to these meetings with my social media manager. She would talk about, when we were discussing Instagram, she would talk about how she would spend all day scrolling Instagram and reporting girls' Instagram accounts who broke community guidelines. And at the time, I was like, I do see girls on Instagram all the time breaking community guidelines, but that just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth in the long run. So they were supposed to start me a new TikTok account, and I think I let a week go by, and I asked her again on the next weekly meeting, had they started me a TikTok account? No TikTok account had been started. All the while, I'm still paying them 60% of my earnings bi-weekly. Now, that on top of, oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you guys. So I signed the contract, and there was little to no communication for a couple of days. And then they sent me a link to a Discord server. The Discord server didn't work. Somebody else sent me a link to a Discord server. I had no way to get in touch with anybody. I only had the initial girl that I had the initial meeting with. I don't even know who she was. And then some other person who shall not be named, but I think he was like, I don't know, a bigwig in the company. And he ended up sending me a Discord server link, but it kept saying broken link, broken link, broken link. So I want to say at least a week went by. Again, 60% bi-weekly payments. They're not really doing anything. I have no communication with anybody. It was not great. A Telegram link, and we were all set. I had some people in there that I could communicate with. Things started to settle in a little bit. I also got some information in a Google Drive that they sent me. And along with that information, there was like a whole list of like onboarding things that needed to be done. Let me tell you, it's a lot of content, you guys. So that first meeting with some girl, I have no idea who she was, and she was like, oh yeah, you can work 2 days a week, ha ha ha. No, it was a lot of content, and to be quite honest, I provided them with a lot of content. And this part kind of pisses me off a little bit. I provided them with a lot of content. They wanted, this was around the time, like before 4th of July, they wanted some 4th of July content. I feel like I put really hard work into my 4th of July content, and I uploaded it to the folder so the people at the agency had access to it, and like they weren't using any of my content. The content that I was working so hard to film and get sent to them, and it's like nobody was looking at it. Nobody was using it. It wasn't being uploaded to my OnlyFans. There was like little to no work, I feel like, being done on their part. I just feel like I was giving them so much content. I was giving them a lot of promotional content. They did try to use my promotional content, but I do really feel like in the end, I feel like I was putting in a lot of work and I was getting little in return from the agency. Allegedly, we'll say that. And then how everything ended in the end was I told you I had weekly meetings with a manager. I'm not sure what her like professional term was, but we were going back and forth about some OnlyFans TV content. I was filming some content. I had filmed a couple of videos to try to meet the requirements of OnlyFans TV. You have to have certain lighting, certain audio settings, and I had filmed it all horizontal. I had my mic, I had my lighting. I had spent all day filming, and that's another thing. I don't really have all day to film. I have a certain period of time, and then, like I said, this is my house. So when people start coming home, I have to wrap it up and get on to my housewife duties. I had filmed all day. I had filmed a couple of videos that they could look at and maybe edit down into a suitable OnlyFans TV video. I sent my manager the video clips, and she proceeded to write back to me in the Telegram message that it wouldn't work. The footage wouldn't work because it wasn't filmed horizontal. I told her the footage was filmed horizontal. Now, when I sent it to her, Maybe it got flipped around somehow, but I believe it could be fixed in editing. The way I had filmed the video wasn't proper. And I told her, because I'm not going to be gaslit, I told her I literally watched an OnlyFans TV video and it was filmed very similar to how I filmed my video. I feel like we weren't arguing, but I feel like she didn't want to deal with me after that point, and she was out. At that point, my contract was terminated, and that was around, I don't know, the 1st of July, end of June, 1st of July. So that's how my contract with the agency allegedly ended. Let's talk analytics. Okay, so I have two pages. I have a paid page, which you have to pay for a subscription, and then I have a free page. And so we'll just go over the analytics here for June, which is the month that the agency allegedly ran my page. So for my paid page, in the month of June, the agency made $918.29. On my free page, for the month of June, the agency made $360.79. So the total for June that the agency made me was $1,279.08 that the agency made me in the month of June. In July, I took over my paid page. This is what I made my paid page in the month of July. $1,052.34 that I made my page in the month of July. My free page in the month of July, I made $220.77. Drumroll, please. Did I make more money using an OnlyFans agency? Short answer, no. Long answer, yes. So the total in the month of June, they made $1,279, and I made in the month of July $1,273. So they literally made $5.97 more than I did. Closing thoughts here on using an OnlyFans agency. I think they're full of baloney, sparkly lies. Everything looks great on the surface, but honestly, they're just there to get some money out of you for however long they can get that money out of you. Also, they only got me to the top 12%, I believe. And in the month of July, I did get myself back to the top 10%. So, did they help? Yes and no. They did get me a good following from some Instagram accounts that, got banned in the end. So, I don't know. I think from here going forward, I'm going to promote myself. I'm going to do all the chatting myself. So if you're over there and you're chatting with someone, just know you're chatting with me. Okay, thanks for sitting through this very long video. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye, guys.